went back in time to kill the evil from the future. Korin Lok said, "Ah, Miel, you are truly skilled at making cake. Give me some as well." Miel handed Korin Lok a slice of strawberry shortcake and said, Certainly, and thank you for the compliment. Here, have another slice." Korin Lok winked, and Park Sihu watched from a distance. Korin Lok added, Good, good. Not only is the cake delicious, but your heart is kind as well." In another scene, Korin Lok said, "Riel, why are you carrying so many things?" Riel replied, I am moving these materials to the testing facilities." Park Sihu listened quietly from afar. Korin Lok said, "A mage with no strength. How are you going to haul all that there?" "Give me half." Riel said, "Oh, thank you." Outside, Korin Lok greeted another teacher. "Oh, Professor Dana, have you been eating well? I received a sandwich from Elsa. Would you like some?" Professor Dana giggled. "Oh my, I would love some." Park Sihu, still in the distance, was silently stunned. In mounting frustration, Park Sihu muttered to himself, "What in the world is this fellow's deal? His looks alone are already decent enough, and his personality is so pleasant that rumors about him spread across the entire campus among both men and women. And the way he talks, he has that special, warm, friendly tone where every single word makes the other person feel appreciated. The problem is," Korin Lok said, I wonder how Hanbail is doing. The girl I used to do physical training with. She always gave me free massages and was such a gentle kid. Earlier, Hanbail had asked, does it feel good? Korin Lok had responded, the best. And I am also curious about Sa-young, the one the coach forced into match fixing. Sa-young fed him ice cream spoon as Korin Lok opened his mouth and said, It is delicious, right? Sa-young asked. Korin Lok continued, After that incident, we became closer and even spent time together around Hongdae, did we not? He sighed. What a shame. It would have been nice if I had dated at least once before coming here. I only ever ended up making many friends. Park Sihu, both shocked and confused, said to himself, Has he lost his mind? He has no sense and absolutely no self-awareness. Why is my first love such a wild woman chaser? Suddenly, Korin Lok grabbed Park Sihu's shoulder and said, But Sihu, even though your muscles look like this, your face has not changed at all. Park Sihu began sweating and blushing. With a trembling voice, he said, I am an athlete. You think my appearance would change that easily? Korin Lok said, True. You are quite pretty. Park Sihu was stunned. Korin Lok continued, At the beginning of the school year there is that cross-dressing contest, correct? The prize for that is quite nice, is it not? From what I see, with your face it is more than possible. You would be perfect for it. Park Sihu stuttered. Really? If you handle the dressing up yourself, I will consider it. Korin Lok said, Oh, good choice. I will prepare everything, from the hat to the stockings. So, are you free this evening? I happen to have a meal ticket for Holy Panda. Park Sihu thought in turmoil. Why am I feeling happy about something like this? Have I lost my mind as well? Korin Lok said, I cannot today. There is this junior, Yuna. She said she had something she wanted to consult me about and would treat me to a meal. Park Sihu erupted. Fluff. Korin Lok asked, Why are you cursing? Park Sihu grumbled, Darn it. Then said to himself, Let us admit the truth. This fellow attracting women is like a natural phenomenon. I will simply have to prepare carefully and block them all. Korin Lok has no awareness of his own popularity, and he must stay that way from now on. The method is simple, fill the party only with men and leave no room for ambiguity. Lunia Arden later read the note, The party is full. Park Sihu continued thinking, I will even remove Lunia Arden from the party, even though she was my greatest advantage in that regard. Yes, the difficulty will rise a bit, but if I calculate everything thoroughly, it is still manageable. I must change the route from the most efficient way to reach the ending to the path where the likelihood of encountering female characters is the lowest. To defeat Balthazar, I do still need to include Saint Estelle in the party eventually. Then I will create a scandal and force the Saint and the Pope to quarrel. Right before the final battle, I will take the Saint's side and steal all the buffs. If I do that, there will be absolutely no chance for Korin and the Saint to meet, correct? Good. Then the next scenario is, that is how I endured 2 years just to achieve this pretty. Korin Lok put down the shot glass and said, I am so sorry. Fluff. Darn it, why did it have to explode at that moment? Park Sihu whispered to himself, It is probably because of the Rotion River today. I was the one who caused that explosion. Corin Loch began to cry. Mariette, Warren, Cranell, Ul, everyone. So many people died. See who, Fluff, what in the world did I do? I knew everything. Park Si-hoo thought to himself. He was always sad, always thinking about the people he failed to save. A real pushover of a saint. They are merely non-player characters for goodness' sake, Corin Loch said. Because I was weak. Park Si-hoo sighed. Ha! There is a way to become stronger, but, Corin Loch asked. Park Si-hoo thought, yes. If we are going to stay together until the final battle, he needs to grow stronger as well. And if it is that woman, the mentor of the born hero, she will certainly raise him to a higher level. Park Si-hoo gently held Corin Loch's rough hands and said, You can become even stronger. Let us go together, definitely, all the way to the ending. He added inwardly, and if possible, even after that. Corin Loch began, You and I. Park Si-hoo clicked his tongue in his thoughts. Shh. But what if this ends up attracting Aaron Danua as well? Well, adding one more should not be a big issue. Just like before, I will watch over him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I will personally handle every female character among his allies, party members, friends, professors, and so on. A few months later, Si-hoo. Park Si-hoo looked up. Yes? I was thinking of going out to Holy Panda in the city. Is it something important? Corin Loch nodded once and said calmly, I have a child. Park Si-hoo's world stopped. Corin Loch continued, Yes, well, it is kind of significant, since the other party is a boss character. After the royal ball, I grew close with Princess Mir. Congratulations to me, right? I am going to be a father now. Corin Loch laughed, while Park Si-hoo simply stared at him in absolute silence. Corin Loch began to sweat. Si-hoo. Park Si-hoo's teeth ground together. What the fluff? Even in the depth of night, the lights of the royal palace never dim. Its alert level and guard standards are among the highest in all of heroic legend of Arhan. Chapel knights and elite guards patrol without pause. Within the palace of the second princess, Park Si-hoo pressed Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath to the ground, choking her. She gasped in pain. Ugh. As expected of the kingdom's hero, Park Si-hoo. Sir Corin's eye for people truly was exceptional. But I did not expect you to be this bold. Erg. Did you truly think you could hide it from him? Jaeger Hinchpeter, Lark Bugman. Oh, and of course, how well are you hiding Mariette Dunalef? Park Si-hoo released her. You know everything. You saw it? Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath answered. I arranged matters so that if I die, a letter will reach both the Southern Territories and Sir Corin. You will not be able to eliminate me, Park Si-hoo said. Let us make a deal. I know what it is you want. Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath said, if that is true, then I have no choice but to move. She smiled faintly. Congratulations. Check. Park Si-hoo corrected her. Checkmate. I know you. And inside he continued. I know the one thing Corin absolutely cannot accept, and you have no choice but to do it now. The outcome will unfold exactly as planned. Corin Loch cried as he held Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath in his arms. You silly woman. I told you to wait for me. She coughed softly and said, Hoo-hoo, I know, but I could not. I wanted to have our child. I am sorry, my love. I am sorry I love you. I am sorry I said it so late. I love you. I truly love you, Corin. Park Si-hoo thought bitterly, you fluffing witch. You could have just passed quietly. Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath looked at Park Si-hoo, smiling, and she said, You will fail. Beer in another Cinnabar. Park Si-hoo muttered, Ah, fluff. Then he thought to himself, I slipped past both Mariette and Miriam, and somehow made it all the way here, only to be caught at the final moment. I will not hold back anymore, he whispered. Your will does not matter. You are mine. In this fake world, you are my one and only real thing, so just wait. I will bring the scenario to its end, and then I will take you. For the system announced, the final battle for the fate of the world. BR, an all-out war with everything on the line. D-bar, the last stage is opening. Radiant Tatez Balthazar. BR, Anbar Demon God. Park Si-hoo. BR, that was. BR Tatez Balthazar charged at Park Si-hoo with all his might. A battle that would one day become myth. Bar, they clashed, and half of the earth flashed with searing light. Tatez Balthazar said, You are strong. This kind of strength, I have never witnessed it. You are not lacking even compared to previous god kings. BR Park Si-hoo choked, Why? Cough. Tatez Balthazar continued calmly. But fate has already separated victory and defeat between us. You are strong, but you are not a complete warrior. It is a pity. In the end, nothing has changed. Ria Fal will never accept such a shabby ending. Truly, It would have been better if it had been Corin Locke, the boy the master chose. There is no need to regret anything. No matter how many times we repeat this, I will always be the one who wins. He struck Park Saihu down. Park Saihu thought faintly, regret is not about winning or losing, or even about living. I never told him, if I had known it would end like this, even if he is a man. I should have said it, that I like him, that I love him. Suddenly, Shirin woke up screaming, "Ah! This place, my room." She sat up, drenched in sweat. The system said, "You have failed. All play logs will now be reset. Thank you for your long playtime." Her mother swung open the door. "Shirin, stop playing games and come eat." Shirin suddenly threw her arms around her mother. "Mom, it has been so long." Her mother blinked in confusion. "Oh my, but I have to go." She hurried out, her body jiggling as she ran through the hallway. "Shirin, at least eat something before you leave." "What is up with her?" her mother muttered. A few minutes later, Shirin stepped out of a cab and rushed toward the Good Body Gym. One of Corin Locke's co-workers said, "Oh, him? He did not come to work today. More importantly, who are you? Do you know him?" Wait, you cannot go in there. Do not touch the contacts list. Manager, please call the police." "Hey." Shirin bolted out the door. "Just 10 minutes away. I can meet him. Should I buy clothes first, some cosmetics, pretty myself up before I go?" She shook her head hard. "No. I absolutely cannot wait. I have already waited more than 3 years." She stood before Corin Locke's apartment door, breath trembling. Huff, huff. The lights are on. "He is here." "Right. I returned too, so..." She knocked and then kicked the door lightly. "Hey, it is me, Sihu. Open the door. He is just a normal extra, right? He must have already returned." With barely a minute of warm-up from the gym earlier, she twisted the doorknob clean off. She rushed inside. "Hey, it is me, Sihu. I will explain everything slowly." So what happened was, but she froze. Her breath vanished. Her gaze settled on the glowing computer monitor. "No," she whispered. "This cannot be it," she screamed, collapsing onto the floor, her body folding down gracefully as despair crushed her. She cried, shaking, thinking, that day, my world collapsed. No, on the screen, sub-player Corin Locke, beginning Succession, now playing. Corin Locke took a sharp gasp of air. Warren blushed, then looked at Corin Locke and asked softly, "Did you hate that?" Corin Locke stepped back, his face flushing as he replied, "No, not at all." He hesitated, then gently held Warren and continued, "But..." "Ah," Warren said. Corin Locke thought to himself, I should tell her that I still cannot accept her feelings. Wait, Warren said quickly. Right now, I am Ran. Ah, Corin Locke responded. Ran had gathered an immense amount of courage, yet it seemed she did not have enough to hear the answer she feared. Is that so? Corin Locke said quietly. Was today's date fun? Ran asked. Yes, she continued. I am always with Hwa, so I am happy to share memories like this. That is a relief, Corin Locke replied. I hoped it would become a memory you would think back on once in a while. He paused. Shall we head back then? Wait a moment, Ran said. Corin Locke responded. You only have memories with Hwa. Ran suddenly rose onto her toes. Today, she whispered, please dream with the two of us, under the beautiful night sky. She stole a kiss from Corin Locke. Corin Locke thought to himself, I am nothing more than an outsider, and yet I am receiving love far greater than I deserve. Is it really all right for things to be like this? His mind drifted to Miriam Elizabeth Elrath's words. I love you. I am sorry I am saying it so late. Even if I choose someone, is that really all right, he wondered. The next day, wow, Corin Locke exclaimed as festive dishes were laid across the table. This is the most delicious food I have eaten in my entire life, Ren shouted. Eat as much as you want, another voice said. This banquet is for us. Come to think of it, Corin Locke said. This is your first time at the royal palace, right, Ren? Ren responded only by devouring every piece of meat she could reach. Huh? Mariette Donalef said. Is it not your first time too, Corin? That is right, Corin Locke replied, clearing his throat. This is our first time coming here in this regression, he thought. He looked around in silence before speaking again. It has been a while since I have seen anything like this. Those people are the ones who distinguish themselves at the Mage Tower, right? He asked. Drink up, Dron shouted as he poured a glass of apple juice for Yuel. To think Merkaba Academy produced students of such high caliber, Corin Locke murmured. You are Lady Alicia, are you not? A boy asked eagerly. Could you give me your autograph? Alicia Arden froze mid-bite. a slice of quadruple chocolate cake still in her hand. "Me?" she stammered. "Please sign here for me too." Another voice called. I do not really have an autograph signature," Alicia said helplessly. "Ooh." Coronlock smiled faintly to himself. "Even though we should be doing nothing but training." 1022. "We went through so much at the Mage Tower. At the very least we deserve to rest easy today." Ren and Huaren continued feasting with obvious delight. Of course, Coronlock thought, I still have work to do. Ron spoke quietly with a red-haired lady nearby. Suddenly, a clear announcement echoed through the hall. The king and queen are entering. The grand doors slowly open, the king's red cape flowing with elegance as he stepped forward. "Everyone listen well," the king declared. "Today is a celebration to commemorate my beloved daughter, the Saintess, chosen by the gods themselves, being rescued from the hands of wicked mages." Miriam Elizabeth El Rath and Estelle Hadasha El Rath entered the hall. "And there are guardians who devoted themselves to this cause." The king continued. "Hero, raise your head. I have heard of your outstanding achievements, great knight. As long as you desire it, I will grant you anything," Coronlock thought calmly, just as in the story. At this point, the player can receive treasures, elixirs, land, or even a title. "What I desire is only one thing," Coronlock said aloud. "Not money, not items, not power. What I want is a pardon," he said. The king's eyes widened. Miriam and Estelle froze in shock. Sweat beaded on the faces of those nearby. "I request a pardon," Coronlock continued. "One that can be used once, capable of pardoning any crime whatsoever." "The banquet will end here," the king said heavily. "Let us move elsewhere." Coronlock clenched his fists. In my previous regression, he thought, my greatest regrets were trusting Park Si-hoo like a fool, failing to notice the people around me dying, failing to protect my master, and failing to stop that incident. If events proceed according to the scenario, a storm of blood will soon sweep through this place. But this time will be different. And for that, what I absolutely need is a pardon, the king repeated. "It is only once, yet you ask for the power to pardon any crime whatsoever. Depending on interpretation, it sounds as though you intend to commit one. Now that you have an audience with me in private, speak. What is your plan?" "I cannot say," Coronlock replied. "Very well," the king said after a long pause. "Then I will grant you a pardon, covering all crimes except treason and the murder of royalty." "Will that satisfy you?" Coronlock said quietly. "Forgive me, but I want a pardon that can pardon all crimes." He lowered himself completely, bowing until his forehead touched the floor. The king gripped the armrest of his throne, his fingers digging in as he spoke. "You do understand what you are saying right now, do you not?" "How arrogant," the king continued coldly. "You are declaring that you will commit treason in the future, directly to my face." Coronlock thought to himself, is this not going to work? "Whether you are the hero who saved my daughter, or the executioner who punished the Mage Tower, it does not matter," the king said. "If the tip of your sword is ever turned toward the royal family, then there is only one thing I must do. Guards, seize this man at once. Father, you cannot kill the hero yourself." The sudden voice froze the room. The king turned sharply. "Estelle?" Estelle Hadasha El Rath stepped forward and said firmly, "Coronlock subjugated the Mage Tower and saved me." "I know," the king replied curtly. "And also," Estelle hesitated, then continued, "I have spent several nights together with him." Sweat instantly broke out across Coronlock's face. That is not exactly wrong, he thought. The king erupted in fury, a blazing aura flaring around him. "Spent nights together? She should say something that actually helps," Coronlock screamed inwardly. "I trust Coronlock more than I trust you, father," Estelle said. The king stared at her in shock and confusion. "What are you, more than anything in the world?" Estelle finished. The king froze completely. "This is," he began, but no words followed. Estelle knelt before him and said calmly, "This is not advice from Princess Estelle. It is advice from the Saintess." The king swallowed. "Are you thinking about your position as a Saintess before you speak?" "Of course," Estelle replied. Coronlock's hand trembled as he thought, to say she trusts me more than anything in the world is blasphemous. And she is trembling. I see. The timing is early, but Estelle has uncovered the order's secret and needs my help. Either way, with her support, there might be a chance. What an interesting spectacle. A slow clap echoed through the chamber. Miriam Elizabeth El Rath entered, smiling faintly as she applauded. "Sir Corin is always entertaining," she said. "To think, you would ask for a pardon, Miriam," Coronlock thought grimly. "This is the worst possible timing. She is the saintess of the Catholic Church. I destroyed the Mage Tower, their ally. There is no way she would be pleased, and she sees Estelle as a thorn in her side. Of course she would interfere. This is really bad. Give him that pardon, Estelle said suddenly. Corin Locke stiffened, drenched in sweat and confusion. I will not kneel, Miriam replied lightly. Looking down at Estelle, she smiled. The view is not bad, and as you know, she continued, it will not be easy. Mir, the king muttered. Estelle stood and exhaled softly. Who? The order and my 2 daughters, the king said bitterly. Saintesses of this kingdom. To think my own children would side with a traitor. Raising children truly is useless. He sank back into his throne. Corin Locke, the king said at last, as you wish, I will bestow upon you a one-time pardon that can pardon all crimes. Thank you, your majesty, Corin Locke said immediately. I succeeded, he thought, but something feels wrong. It was the same when we fought the Mage Tower. The Mage Tower went to hunt those wolves, Miriam said casually. This time too, Corin Locke frowned inwardly. Why, he muttered, why is Miriam helping me? Elsewhere, inside Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath's chamber. Uhu, my hypocritical father, she said softly. He must be worried about how far my anger and hatred will spread. She glanced toward her guest. By the way, I am disappointed. Barging into a lady's room without permission. You lack manners as a gentleman. I hope you understand, Tates Baltazar replied calmly. I dislike noisy affairs. I hear your recent losses have been rather severe, Miriam said. Severe enough to be disappointing. At this rate, does it even mean anything for me to support you? Do not say that, Tates replied. It has always been like this. Nothing can be done. This darn world simply hates me far too much. Miriam frowned in confusion. Anyway, Tate said, extending an object, everything is as per the contract. Read my fate. Miriam's gaze sharpened. A secret treasure of this world that can read the fate that awaits me. Ria Fall. 5 years ago, Tates Baltazar came to me with an offer. If I sponsored him, he would lend me Ria Fall once each year. This time Tate said quietly, I hope you receive the outcome you desire. Brilliant light enveloped Miriam, shining so brightly that it spilled beyond her window. Outside, Corin Locke looked up sharply. Huh, Estelle? Corin Estelle Hadasha El Rath said seriously. I have something important to tell you. Corin Locke nodded slowly. I realized it the moment you arranged lodging for me at the Imperial Palace right after the banquet ended. As expected, Estelle Hadasha El Rath said softly, you are sharp. My holy power was sealed, she continued. You remember that, do you not? Did you find the cause? Corin Locke asked. Even after leaving the Steel Archipelago, my holy power never returned, Estelle replied. I believed that time alone would resolve it. She lowered her gaze, but since that day, she thought, when I witnessed that radiance. Estelle knelt down. Her necklace snapped quietly, the chain giving way as the rosary fell into her palm. She stared at it, until I discovered the hidden truth. Gold plating? Corin Locke murmured. When those Mage Tower rascals kidnapped me, Estelle said, they confiscated every weapon I possessed. But they did not take my rosary. I always wore it close to my body, she continued, so I never once suspected it. So this was what absorbed your holy power, Corin Locke said quietly. Yes, Estelle replied. And yet, when you think about it, is that not strange? A power bestowed by the Lord should not be blocked by a mere lump of metal. She hesitated, then spoke again, her voice trembling. Perhaps holy power has nothing to do with devout faith in the Lord at all. As proof, she added, though it is blasphemous to say, I did not lose even the smallest trace of holy power. Corin Locke listened in silence. I was wearing that rosary too, he realized. My mana. So this was why the divine power of Klaus Solas was being drained away. Corin, Estelle said softly, you already know, do you not? Before she could continue, Corin spoke first. Really? Have you never doubted the existence of God, the truth of this world? Estelle finished quietly. Corin Locke thought back. In the original work, Estelle Hadasha El Rath existed only as a supporting non-player character, never as a playable party member. System notification. Estelle Hadasha El Rath, may the blessings of the Lord be with you. That alone meant she was never meant to be deeply involved in the scenario. Until the very end, Estelle never discovered the traitors hidden among the Protestants. Because of that, the rosary's false nature was never revealed. It remained a so-called plot hole among the players. However, history had already diverged. From the moment Estelle returned to Merkaba Academy, this outcome had been inevitable. Follow me, Corin Locke said. Treasure Island Magmal. No way! Estelle gasped. That cannot be. These beings, she whispered, are they the gods of this world, Danon? High above, figures looked down upon her. Estelle's legs gave way. She dropped to her knees. That this cannot be true. Her faith shattered in an instant. Corin Locke remained silent, watching. I have never seen holy power this strong, Estelle thought in horror. That is an incredible talent. From the moment I was born, this world belonged to me. Even before I possessed desire, people offered everything to me. Saintess, please bless me too, a poor girl cried. Wherever you go, I will stake my life to protect you. A knight vowed. Wow, it is the Saintess, a young girl exclaimed. If only she would speak to me just once. She is so beautiful. As everyone yearned for me with everything they had, I could no longer tell whether faith was born from power or power was born from faith. That I could not know. But there was one thing I believed without doubt. I had been chosen by the Lord. The second Holy Land, Zion, the Grand Cathedral. Hello, Pope Sakari, Estelle Hadasha El Rath said calmly. Oh, Saintess, Pope Sakari replied warmly. What brings you here? Pope, Estelle asked softly, do you believe in God? Pope Sakari's body began to glow faintly with holy light. He fell silent for a moment before answering. Of course, Saintess. Even at this very moment the Lord protects us. Surely the holy power we wield is proof enough, is it not? Estelle smiled. You know what this is, do you not? She asked, raising an object in her hand. It is something that only high-ranking clergy are even permitted to approach within the order. Someone replaced my rosary with this. A certain sneaky rat, she added lightly. What do you think, Pope Sakari? Pope Sakari suddenly smirked. Oh, so you have learned the truth at last, he said, bowing his head slightly. But nothing truly changes. The reason we can wield holy power has nothing to do with faith, he continued. It is because we inherited the bloodline of the ancient Danann and the giants. Saintess, you will understand soon enough. The true gods we must serve are the Danann, he proclaimed. And among them, the great Balthazar. Protestants, the Catholic Church. What do such labels matter? He scoffed. Soon, this world will belong to those of us who possess holy power. The coming of paradise, he whispered reverently. When the world of the Danann returns once again. What? Estelle said faintly. That is right, Pope Sakari declared. We are the ones chosen by the gods. And yet, he sighed, snapping his fingers. Those Mage Tower and Catholic Church fools dared to ruin everything. Priests began to gather, heavy maces clutched tightly in their hands. Pope Sakari grasped Estelle's hands eagerly. Ah, Saintess, he said feverishly. With your blood we could revive the giant and draw even closer to paradise. Why did you not do it? You, Estelle whispered. So you were all in this together. My lifelong faith collapsed in that moment, she thought. The scriptures I memorized, the heavenly being I worshipped, everything was a lie. She pulled her hands away. You are not qualified to be Pope, Estelle said clearly. And Balthazar is not qualified to be a god either. What did you say? The priest shouted. How dare you insult Lord Balthazar? Seize the Saintess. No, seize that wretch. They charged. Estelle remained silent. Then, a blinding light erupted. A colossal presence descended and a voice echoed through the cathedral. Yes, Estelle. So you are my distant descendant. The Danann of the earth, Dagda, had appeared. If you have inherited my bloodline, he said, then you will be able to wield it. Estelle grasped the manifested weapon before her. I have a duty greater than faith, she realized. A duty to lead and save as many people as I can, bearing the weight of the power I possess. I will be the one to decide, she said. A system notification rang out. Dagda's club, the weapon once wielded by Dagda himself, used to strike down the white-headed serpent clan's Mata through pure physical might. Estelle swung the club forward, on the God I believe in, and in that instant, the Zion Protestants underwent their religious reformation. But the Saintess was not the only one forging her destiny. Elsewhere. Miriam Elizabeth El Rath cried out suddenly. Did you come back after seeing the future? Tates Balthazar asked calmly. Estelle Hadasha El Rath smirked. Ho ho ho, ha ha ha. She laughed. Yeah. I see. In the end, it is you who are destined to grant my wish, my hero, my prince, my fate, my Corin Locke. She lifted her gaze toward the blood-red sky. Corin Locke said to himself that he had ended up marrying Miriam because he fell for her alluring scent. Yet, unexpectedly, he was happy. In the original scenario, Miriam caused the so-called demi-human massacre and met a miserable end at the hands of a player. Corin believed that if he stayed with her, if he could make her happy so that thoughts of revenge or resentment never even crossed her mind, he could save Miriam, who was destined to die as a villain. He was wrong. Park Si-hoo shouted in anger. Freak it, Corin Locke said to himself. that he did not know what had happened, but Miriam was once again consumed by vengeance, just like in the original story. The demi-human massacre occurred again. Park Si-hoo said flatly, "This is already over." Korin Lok looked around in confusion and said, "Where in the world did the information leak from?" Suddenly, a child shouted, "But please help me." Korin Lok turned toward the voice and said, "Where?" A girl was running away from a giant snake, screaming, "Ah!" Korin Lok shouted, "There is a survivor. Kid, run this way." She tried to run faster. "Ah." She closed her eyes and whispered, "I am saved." But Korin Lok was not able to save her from the giant snake. He froze in shock. Aura surged violently around him. "What in the world?" he muttered. Suddenly he vanished. "Why are you taking this so far?" Korin Lok roared as he reappeared and attacked the giant snake. Then he stopped. Inside the snake's gaping mouth, he saw Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath. His blade had pierced her stomach. "Miri!" Korin Lok shouted. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath smiled weakly. Korin caught her as she fell. "Mir, why did you?" She laughed softly. "Hoo-hoo. I could not stop myself." Her voice faded as she whispered, "I am sorry, and I love you." Korin Lok said to himself, "You are my," as if this was simply his fate. At the underground city of Dana Sui, "Demi-humans, have you all gathered?" asked a man. He was Wolf Elder Kush of the Demi-Human Alliance. A boy replied, "A few are missing." An old man added, "They were caught by the snake and died." Wolf Elder Kush frowned. "A snake, Korin Lok said to himself that the demi-human persecution that began with the Catholic Church was worsening by the day. A boy missing an arm shouted, "That cursed snake's subordinate cut off my arm." His dark-skinned friend added, "At this rate, even the location of this place will be discovered. Elder, we need a countermeasure now." Korin Lok said to himself that the only place left for those pushed to the fringes, where they could still live with their heads lowered, was here. Dana Sui. Wolf Elder Kush angrily scratched the armrest of his chair. "Must we truly do nothing but wait for the day we die? Edna, what is the snake situation? I heard you succeeded in infiltrating the royal palace." Edna hesitated. "About that, I was discovered." "What?" Wolf Elder Kush exclaimed. "The Korin Guardians contacted me," Edna said. A lady gave a thumbs up toward Korin Lok and said, "There is no problem." Edna continued, "Somehow, they had already figured out that I am a were-human as well." Ron said calmly, "So, Edna, you only need to deliver our words properly." "Do not worry," the lady added. "We will tell you the entire plan." Wolf Elder Kush said slowly, "I know the Korin Guardians. Aren't they the ones who saved Saintess Estelle?" Someone asked. The one-armed man said, "Their captain is Korin Lok, the one who supposedly defeated even the Magi of Gold." His friend shouted, "It is over. He is the hero who saved the royal family. He will use this chance to kill all of us." Edna shook her head. "No, he made a new proposal." "A proposal?" Wolf Elder Kush asked. "That man, Korin," Edna said quietly. "He said he will crush the snake." The crowd erupted in shock. "He will kill the snake?" An elf boy asked, "Oh, is that truly possible?" A purple-haired man murmured. Wolf Elder Kush said grimly, "Is he saying he will start a rebellion in this country? How reckless! How can we believe that? Korin Lok is human in the end. Those Protestants are the same. They act like they will protect us, but it is all for show. Aren't they just watching the Catholic Church's oppression happen?" The crowd shouted in unison, "That is right. Humans are all the same. They do nothing but talk." "Enough," Ren shouted. "Hey, all of you," Edna gasped. "You tracked me?" Ron and Ren stepped forward. Wolf Elder Kush stared at them. "Are you from the Gold Wolf tribe? I thought you were wiped out." "That was what was supposed to happen," Ren said calmly. "We were about to become test subjects with no way out," Ren continued, "but Korin saved us. With Saintess Estelle's help, we are now attending Merkaba Academy." Ron added, "If it were not for the two of them, we would not be who we are today." Edna bowed slightly. "Elder, I infiltrated the kingdom as a clerk and have worked there ever since. From what I have seen, their plan is feasible. We are demi-humans without a nation. This is our chance to be recognized as citizens of the kingdom." Wolf Elder Kush fell silent. He raised his hand and placed it on Edna's head. "Humans cannot be trusted," he said. Edna trembled. "Erg. However," Wolf Elder Kush continued, "I will try trusting my family's judgment." He smiled. Edna blushed and smiled back. When the school vacation ended, Merkaba Academy was in the middle of its opening ceremony. However, Korin Lok had something else to take care of. "Heave-ho. Phew," he muttered as he set the bag down. Korin Lok said to himself that when he infiltrated the Steel Archipelago, He obtained precious elixirs from the forbidden forest. Besides those, he farmed this and that as well. But compared to this, they were nothing, Mariette Dunalef exclaimed in excitement. See, Corin, you are really going to eat that? Wow, should you not leave it to your future descendants? A system notification appeared. Goryeo Mountain Ginseng, a legendary spiritual herb that grew by absorbing the energy of the earth's veins over 10,000 years. If boiled into a decoction, one's mana expands. If consumed as is, one's aura expands, Corinlock said to himself. It is a 10,000-year-old mountain ginseng. Even the gods would treasure it as a relic, but, Corinlock said aloud, I am going to brew it now and drink it. He continued inwardly. With Goryeo Mountain Ginseng, the absorbed amount varies wildly depending on the recipe. That is why I needed someone who understood it better than anyone else. Mariette Dunalef clenched her fists. Deshik, you can do this. Deshik, former elder of Drayan, said to himself, the precious elixir I painstakingly raised. He burst into tears, crying a river. A few moments later, the pot glowed with golden liquid. Corinlock began to drink it. Golden aura enveloped his body as he said, It is done. A system notification appeared. You have perfectly absorbed the Goryeo Mountain Ginseng. Your mana has expanded by 37,564. Your mana rank rises from highest to special low. Corinlock said to himself, At last my total mana has exceeded 50,000. Of course, it was still not enough compared to Park Sihu, Ohart Bress, or Tates Balthazar. But I have the commandments, and Air Getlam. A system notification appeared. Commandment. I will save the world. In battles related to saving the world, all stats increase by 200%. Set effect. Clayum Soleis and Air Getlam. Mana increases by 200%. Corinlock said to himself, a full fourfold amplification. That means I can secure as much as 200,000 mana. I have secured enough mana to handle the sun more smoothly. Soon the time will come when I will need it. In the original story, and even in the first run, where I thought I had controlled every variable, Miriam caused a massacre, as if it were a fate that had to happen. The only one who would welcome this cursed fate was Tates Balthazar. He wanted the Catholic Church and the demi-humans to hate each other and exhaust their strength. He wanted the Protestants and humans to do the same. He wanted anyone who could stop the arrival of paradise to be destroyed. What I have to do is clear. A system notification appeared. Commandment. I will not turn a blind eye to the misery of those who are good. Another notification followed. Commandment. I will save the world. Another notification appeared. If this oath fails, you will certainly die, Corinlock said to himself. In order to survive, I must stop the villain trying to destroy the world, prevent myself from falling into misery, and protect innocent demi-humans. Preparations are complete, Aaron said calmly. I will grant a single amnesty that can forgive all sins at once. Thank you, Corinlock said. He said to himself that he had obtained the amnesty, and although he wanted to avoid it, he had also prepared for battles that could break out at any time. Until then, I will avoid contact with Miriam as much as possible. If the secret instructions I have been giving are discovered by her, the entire plan will be ruined. In the previous run, Miriam committed the demi-human massacre, and I could not stop her, never again. At the professor's office, Corinlock said to himself, I will not repeat the same mistake. Josephine Clara said, Miriam has applied for a mentor. As you know, it is a system where in exchange for a large donation, one can receive after-school tutoring from any professor or student of their choosing. Corinlock said, So you are saying Princess Miriam wants to meet me after school every day? Yes, Josephine Clara replied. Corinlock said to himself, What is she planning now? Miriam's voice echoed in his memory. Back then as well, the Image Tower went to hunt those wolves. Please give him the amnesty, Corinlock said to himself. And then too, is she planning to keep me close and monitor me? Josephine Clara asked, If you do not want to, shall we reject it? No, Corinlock said. He handed over a sealed document and added, I will be her mentor. Mentoring at Merkaba Academy. Traditional mentoring at Merkaba Academy refers to a one-to-one system where a junior receives guidance from a senior who possesses abundant knowledge or experience. If the junior's abilities improve, the senior gains additional points. If the opposite occurs, points may be deducted. As Jaeger Hinspeter said, Do you want to be my mentee? Corinlock said to himself that because of this, when a new semester begins, seniors usually look for juniors to mentor. However, juniors are already exhausted by the heavy workload, and there is no special benefit to being under a mentor. As a result, it is uncommon for juniors to apply first. Still, on very rare occasions, some juniors request mentoring because they want to spend more time with a senior they admire. Of course, this man did not think it was anything special. Corin Locke said that wanting to follow a senior's example and become stronger was admirable. Even so, for Corin Locke, this mentoring request was unusual. He looked at the black envelope and said to himself, And the sender was the saintess of the Catholic Church, and the second princess, Miriam Hadasha El Ras. Miriam Hadasha El Ras said softly, "Welcome, my mentor, Sir Corin." Corin Locke placed the envelope down and said calmly, "I am sorry, but please find another mentor." Miriam Hadasha El Ras replied, "I did not expect you to accept immediately, but I also did not expect to be rejected this quickly. My schedule is busy," Corin Locke said. "I have missions with the Corin Guardians. Since it is autumn, I need to prepare for the festival. Before long, there is also the Guardian rank evaluation." Miriam Hadasha El Ras said to herself, "Corin Locke, you are my destiny. I do not know the exact method or process, but the stone of fate showed me the future." In that vision, Corin Locke was there, holding me and crying. It was a future where my long-cherished wish was fulfilled. My long-cherished wish is to kill every demi-human in the demi-human union in Mound and achieve revenge. But right now, when I cannot even identify Mound's location, the only thing I can rely on. Corin Locke bowed slightly and said, "Then I will be going." Miriam Hadasha El Ras continued inwardly, "Is this man? I will make him come looking for me on his own, because I will fill him with what he does not have." As Corin Locke left, a small snake quietly slithered onto his shoulder. A few moments later, outside, Corin Locke looked up at the building. Miriam Hadasha El Ras observed silently. Corin Guardians headquarters. So this is the Corin Guardians, she thought. If I think of it as a newly established Guardian group, a 5-story building is not bad. But if they plan to run a Guardians organization, they will need money. Should I offer gold? "Good morning," Corin Locke said cheerfully. "This is your house, so stop lazing around every day and clean a little." Otaku gave a thumbs up. "Rough." Miriam Hadasha El Ras blinked. A dog? Familiar? This is a doghouse? Wait, could this be? Ha! Corin Locke sighed. Even having land that is too large is not always a good thing. Miriam Hadasha El Ras froze, her jaw dropping. The actual scale of the Corin Guardians. Corin Locke looked over the vast land and muttered, "When will I ever finish touring this place?" "Corin!" Mariette Dunalev shouted. "You are here! Hey, what if we build one more airfield so Reisvolger can come and go in a flock?" Corin Locke wiped sweat from his brow. "Senior, I said it was fine, did I not?" Miriam Hadasha El Ras said to herself. It seems gold will not be necessary. Do they want to expand the Guardians group? Then should I provide troops?" She continued observing. "Oh, Alicia, what are you doing?" Corin Locke called out. Alicia Arden was training with others and froze. "Ah! She told me to start teaching you little by little, but Corin, move away. I smell sweaty right now." She struck an awkward pose in embarrassment. Her students copied the pose while staring at Corin Locke. Miriam Hadasha El Ras frowned inwardly. It does not look like they are short on troops either. Even so, this is nothing more than a trivial employment relationship. There are things more important than work, you know? Corin Locke changed clothes, revealing his chiseled physique. Miriam Hadasha El Ras felt her thoughts spiral. Since I am at that age, I need something beside me every night that I cannot forget. Warren walked slowly toward Corin Locke. "Oh, hello," Corin Locke said gently. "Are you going to sleep here again today?" Warren blushed, hugging her favorite pillow. "Are you still having nightmares these days?" Corin Locke asked. Miriam Hadasha El Ras broke into a cold sweat. "Yes," Warren replied. "Hold my hand. It is warm. I like it, Corin. I am sleepy." "Then let us go to bed," Corin Locke said. Miriam Hadasha El Ras staggered back. Her head throbbed as she collapsed to the floor. What is this indecency? A few moments later, "All right, Sir Corin," Miriam Hadasha El Ras said, regaining composure. "Honestly, I do not know what you need, so I will ask you directly. What do you want? What do I need to give you for you to become my mentor? I will do anything." Corin Locke turned back, confused. "Really? Anything?" "Yes," Miriam Hadasha El Ras replied firmly. She added inwardly, "I do not care what it is, as long as I can get revenge." "All right," Corin Locke said. Then, he leaned in and whispered, "What?" Miriam Hadasha El Ras stammered. "That is all?" Corin Locke smiled. "Yes, but mentoring will not be easy. If you do not like it, then forget it." Miriam Hadasha El Ras shouted, "No, I can do it." A few moments later, she bent over in exhaustion. Huff, huff, huff. This is exhausting. Sir, what meaning does any of this even have? It is so boring, she complained inwardly. We have been learning only first aid for 2 hours. Corinlock replied calmly. Of course it is exhausting. Saving someone is harder than harming someone. The only answer you are allowed to give me is with grit, trainee. With grit, Miriam muttered, then glared. Sir, are you insane? That is enough for today's lesson, Corinlock said. This time, it is your turn to keep your promise. Are you serious about that? Miriam asked. She remembered what Corinlock had whispered to her earlier. Once, every time mentoring ends, please show me your smile, one that is sincere. That will be enough. You are not thinking of backing out now, are you? Corinlock asked. Ugh, Miriam groaned. If you suddenly tell me to smile, is it like this? She forced an awkward smile, her lips twitching. There is no sincerity in it, Corinlock said. The corners of your mouth are stiff. You need to narrow your eyes more as well. Arr! Miriam shouted in frustration. Ha ha! That is fine, Corinlock laughed. Let us really stop here for today. Then I will see you in the park tomorrow, Miriam Hadasha El Ras muttered to herself. Seriously, what in the world is he plotting? The next day, trainee, Corinlock said. Today's training content is splinting. Are you fooling around with a patient? Miriam snapped. It feels like you are forcing a smile, Corinlock replied. Do it more naturally. I told you to put sincerity into it, did I not? Miriam tried to smile again. Then the next day, and the day after that, concealment and cover are the basics of tactics. Understood. Why is one corner of your mouth drooping? Do you have facial asymmetry? Put some strength into the other side too. Okay. That is enough for today. I did not expect it to work in one try anyway. Ugh, why am I doing this sort of thing? Miriam muttered. Then I will see you tomorrow, Corinlock said. Corinlock said to himself that time passed mercilessly, and everything up until now proceeded exactly as planned. Boss, Ren called out. Ren, Corinlock replied. Ron! At the Corin Guardian's office. Sorry, Corinlock said. Something suddenly came up this afternoon, so you two will have to take over everything tomorrow. No problem, boss, Ron said. We are happy to handle it. Yeah, Ren added. We got super close with Edna, too. So you are Corin, Edna said. This is my first time meeting you in person. My name is Edna Ilusan, Corinlock said to himself. Edna Ilusan, a dark leopard were human, a non-player character from Mound who became an internal spy within the royal palace to monitor Miriam's movements. Within the kingdom, she infiltrated as a civil servant while hiding her true identity. Her fabricated identity was that of an administrative officer responsible for policy planning. She wished to propose laws protecting were-humans, yet in reality, she was barely managing to hide the fact that she herself was one stateless demi-humans who drifted without nationality, were fully exposed to discrimination and persecution of every kind. Edna, please take this, Corinlock said. This is? Edna asked. These are the signatures of people who cared enough to act for demi-humans, Corinlock replied. I will sign as well, Isabel said immediately. If it is for Mariette, I do not like them much, another added. But there can be good demi-humans too. We will add Hang's vote as well, Lork said. From Merkaba Academy's standpoint, Aaron Danua said, it states that students should be able to attend school with peace of mind. We have also strengthened Mound's barrier even further, Josephine Clara added. Unless someone knows the exact coordinates, it will be impossible to find with the naked eye. So do not worry. Edna hugged the documents tightly and cried, Thank you, everyone, truly. Corinlock said to himself that everything was proceeding smoothly. What Miriam once used to carry out the massacre was the kingdom's army. She framed demi-humans as traitors and exterminated them. That had only been possible because she never intended to deal with the aftermath. But if all demi-humans became citizens, mobilizing the kingdom's army against its own people would become impossible. The next day, so all we have to do is keep Miriam's attention and prevent her from discovering Mound's location until the bill passes. The hands of fate's clock continued to turn without pause. Suddenly, Corinlock stopped. The bench was empty. Miriam? He asked in confusion. At the Zerum Grand Cathedral, Catholic Church, Miriam Hadasha El Ras said to herself. And so, in this round, she stepped forward. So they were hiding here, those filthy beasts. Finally, it is almost as if they were mocking me. Miriam Hadasha El Ras grinned. I found you, as I struggled to change fate. Corinlock said to himself that this was the day before the Saintess kidnapping incident led by the Mage Tower. As Estelle Hadasha El Rath walked seductively through the streets, countless men could not help but stare, their gazes lingering as they drooled openly. Her presence alone drew attention wherever she went. Her communicator crackled to life. Saintess, how is the escort plan for the criminals progressing? Estelle Hadassah El Rath replied calmly, "It is going smoothly. We will transport them together with the chapel knights. We have an entire chain of a rank vicious heretics, all bound." A priest beside her spoke coldly, "They are truly impure wretches. They must be judged here in the Xi'an Holy Land. There are so many prisoners that we will have to travel by land, so it will take quite some time to arrive." Estelle Hadassah El Rath suddenly paused and looked into the distance, confusion flickering across her eyes. Walking alone along the street was Miriam Elizabeth El Rath. Miriam Elizabeth El Rath lifted her gaze toward Estelle, and Estelle exclaimed in surprise, "Mir?" A few moments later, outside the city, Estelle Hadassah El Rath asked quietly, "What do you want, Mir?" "I know you did not come just to ask how I am doing," Miriam Elizabeth El Rath said coolly. "How much will you sell that information for?" Estelle lowered her gaze and remained silent. Miriam continued, "I know everything, the Demi-Human Alliance and the existence of Mound as well. I am also aware that the Xi'an Order has been hiding that location. What will it take for you to tell me?" Sweat formed at Estelle's temples as she looked away. "I will do anything you want," Miriam said softly. "If you wish, we could even return to how close we were when we were children." Estelle closed her eyes, her silence stretching on. Finally, she said, "I do not know what you are talking about." Miriam's expression twisted with anger. "You!" She slammed her cane against the ground and turned away. As she walked off, she said coldly, "You will regret this. I will make sure of it." Estelle called after her, on the escort route, "There is Lady Maria's grave. If it is all right, I will offer prayers there." Miriam replied without turning back, "I do not need your God." In another place, Miriam Elizabeth El Rath sneered, "It is just like Estelle to do that. That sanctimonious witch. The mound I had been searching for was hidden in the Xi'an Order's Holy Land. If you were going to hide, you should have chosen a better place. Disgusting scoundrels." She turned toward a man beside her. "Thank you, Sir Gress, for joining our plan, even though it means betraying the Protestants. Thanks to you, we have finally found Mound's location." Sir Gress chuckled darkly. "Hoo-hoo. The one who betrayed the Protestants was Estelle, that wretched woman," he continued. "I do not know how she discovered it, but she uncovered the faction within the Protestants that was working together with Balthazar. With all that uproar about religious reform, she arrested the Pope and countless priests. Thanks to that, I was the only one who survived, since I happened to be away from the order at the time." He paused briefly. "So about that. If you were to burn down all of the Protestants' holy lands this time—" "Not the Protestants," Miriam interrupted sharply. "Xi'an," Sir Gress shrugged. "Come now. Protestants, Catholic Church, whatever. Does it really matter? We are on the same side." Miriam glanced back at him and said mockingly, "Ha! I was thinking I would make you the Pope if you helped me clean up the Xi'an Church. Too bad, I suppose." Sir Gress blinked. "Pardon?" Suddenly, multiple attacks struck him at once. Golden light burst outward as his body convulsed. A man stepped forward and spoke solemnly, "Thank you for granting me this glorious opportunity to judge the blasphemous heretic Saintess. I am the Holy Knight of Zeruim, Rojo. Our long-cherished wish will finally be fulfilled." Another figure stepped from the shadows. "Shadow of the Snake Arba," he said coldly. "Finally, I can take revenge on Estelle in the Mage Tower." Nearby, the Master of Magic, Calatin, remained silent. The great warrior of Domnu, Persia, declared firmly, "My loyalty is always with the royal family." Miriam Elizabeth El Rath looked at them all. She walked out onto the balcony and raised her cane. "Today I command this as the Saintess of Zeruim, and as the Princess of this kingdom, under the complacent protection of Xi'an, every beast that parasitizes this kingdom and constantly plots rebellion, they will all be exterminated." Below, soldiers assembled in formation. Elsewhere, Ron shouted anxiously, "To calm down, everyone. The chairman will be here soon." A beastman roared, "Shut up. There are rumors that the Snake Woman is bringing the royal army. This location has been exposed." He struck Ren across the face. "Kia!" she cried out in pain. Another voice said grimly, "Wait. If the snake found our location so quickly, not long after you arrived, do not tell me. You two are not traitors, are you? If you are, you will not leave this place unharmed." "Erg," Ren groaned. Suddenly, a firm voice cut through the chaos. "Stop." Wolf Elder Kush stepped forward. "Fighting among family is forbidden. I believe I already told you that." He turned his gaze toward one person. "Now then, shall we hear an explanation, Cornlock?" Korenlock took a breath and said, "To get straight to the point, it is because of me." And in his mind, he recalled, unexpectedly, spending a long time with Saintess Estelle at the Mage Tower, where she confirmed that there were people within the Protestants who followed Balthazar. And then, unlike what should happen, the religious reform began. And in the chaos, it seems a rat slipped away. Ha! This blasted butterfly effect. Korenlock spoke calmly but firmly. "But it is not over yet. Please give me just a little more time." Wolfelder Kush narrowed his eyes. "More time?" "In 3 days," Korenlock replied. "There will be a legislative trial." He took out a document, holding it up for everyone to see. Amendment to the National Demi-Human Registration Act. "This is the bill I have been preparing," Koren continued. "A civil bill to recognize the demi-humans we have been protecting as full citizens. More than half of Miriam's army belongs to the King's army. At the very least, the King's army cannot use force against its own citizens, so if you can buy me time until then, we still have a chance. Everyone is doing their best." Mariette murmured quietly to the priest beside her. "Our story." Josephine spoke next, her voice steady. "There is a way to end this civil war," Aaron added simply, "to be resolved under this agenda." Korenlock finished, "Without anyone bleeding, please do not let all that effort go to waste." Wolfelder Kush fell silent. An elven woman clenched her fists. "Blast it. I cannot even tell what is going on anymore." Her companion whispered in fear, "We have to run." Wolfelder Kush closed his eyes. Everyone is trembling with fear, he thought. Then he spoke aloud. "It is my mistake. I repeated the same mistake again. The mistake of trusting humans. If we remain here like this, we will not even last a single day. Every demi-human in Mound will be slaughtered. Do not resent me. In the end, this was always our fate." No. Another voice broke through. "From the very beginning, this was a fight that would not end until one side fell." Korenlock exhaled slowly. "I see, so that is your conclusion." He turned and walked forward. "Chairman," Ren cried. Wolfelder Kush raised his voice. "Everyone, stop hiding and come out. Even children and women must come to the battlefield. Those with claws, kill with your claws. Those with fangs, kill with your fangs. I know that snake. The snake does not spare women or children when it kills. We will have nothing left to protect. So fight. They already see us as monsters, so let us show them what monsters truly are. If we cannot kill the snake, then we all die anyway. Survive. No more hiding. Let us kill the enemy." He suddenly stopped. "K. Kush." An elven woman pointed ahead, her voice shaking. "Over there." Wolfelder Kush's eyes widened. "That is Protestants' chapel knights?" He stepped forward. "Are you going to fight with us?" In response, the knights raised their spears and aimed them directly at him. Estelle Hadasha El-Rath stepped forward. "No," she said calmly. "We are here to stop you. If you wish to reach Mir, defeat me first." An elf cried out in disbelief. "How could we fight? Saintess, thanks to you we have been able to remain hidden all this time." Wolfelder Kush spoke slowly, his voice heavy. "But Saintess Estelle, you are human as well. Saintess, we hold nothing but gratitude for the shelter you provided us. However, it seems you could not defy your own blood. You are going to side with the snake, the one threatening our lives?" Estelle remained silent. Then she smiled. "No, I am only going to stop you here for 3 days." Wolfelder Kush's expression hardened. "This is not the time for jokes, Saintess. If we all stay here, then who will face the army waiting outside right now?" Estelle replied softly. "Try trusting the person I trust most." Wolfelder Kush stiffened. "Even after everything that has happened, you are telling us to believe in God." "No," Estelle answered. Outside, the army of Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath advanced. She raised her arm, signaling the troops to halt, her gaze fixed forward. Korenlock stepped ahead and slammed the butt of his spear into the ground. "Everything is not going the way you think. When it comes to humans," he continued coldly, "sometimes force is the only language left. What else can we do?" Ron cracked his knuckles. Alicia, weary of endless fighting, let out a long sigh. Huaren stretched her arms, loosening her shoulders. Korenlock gritted his teeth and rolled his shoulders, steel in his eyes. They prepared for battle. Miriam Elizabeth El-Rath narrowed her eyes and said, "I know you are strong, but do you truly believe that merely a handful of people can stand against my army?" Behind her, ranks of soldiers advanced in formation. She lifted her small hand and declared, "I will trample over you and move forward." With a single gesture, she pointed ahead, and her archers released a volley. Arrows darkened the sky as they rained down. Korenlock glanced upward calmly. Suddenly, a massive barrier materialized, intercepting every arrow in midair. Not a single shaft pierced through. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath stared in shock. A barrier? Saintess Estelle Hadasha El Ras stepped forward and prayed, "O Dagda, God of the earth, grant us the strength to face the enemy's iron chariots with honor. Protect these innocent royal soldiers so that they do not lose their lives." At once, a vast dome of light spread outward, covering the entire area. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath clenched her jaw. "A barrier this wide? That is absurd." Corin Locke exhaled softly. He thought to himself, this place where the mound stands is called Dana Sui, even within Zion's Holy Land. It is an underground city built in ancient times by the Danan under Dagda. If Saintess Estelle Hadasha El Ras, who inherited the divinity of the earth god, uses Undry, what will happen? Undry possessed no power on its own. A system notification appeared. Infinite Cauldron. Undry, one of the Danan's 4 secret treasures, a treasure symbolizing the god King Dagda and proof of possessing the divinity of the earth god, an inexhaustible storehouse of life. Corin Locke narrowed his eyes. It strengthens the power of commandments and spells. Some reinforce summoning formulas with it, continuously calling forth beasts from hell. Others chose to use it to protect people. This barrier will not break easily, and finding its weakness will not be simple either. Master of Magic Calatin stroked his beard. The war between the Danan and the giants was so immense that it was said to threaten the world itself. They bound each other with an absolute commandment, a gies, to realize ancient magic using the Danan's treasure and a saintess's holy power. He looked at Corin, impressive. "However, young man, this is not mere defensive magic, it is a commandment. State the contract conditions." Corin studied him. A mage from the Mage Tower? He knows far too much. He clicked his tongue. "Fine. This is Saintess Estelle's Gies, Dagda's arena." Calatin nodded. "It is not one-sided defensive magic. It is an ancient contract method that sets conditions. The side that wins claims what it desires." Another system notification appeared. GS, Absolute Compliance Contract. 5 warriors selected by each side will fight fair duels. The loser, once rendered unable to fight, must withdraw immediately. The winner proceeds to face the next warrior. GS, Absolute Compliance Contract. The losing side cannot enter the Holy Land. Corin crossed his arms. "So, what will you do?" "I doubt you will abandon the mound and return quietly." Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath laughed softly. "Not bad, Sir Corin. Very well. In the end, I will be the one laughing last. I accept your proposal. Let us begin the duel." Corin's expression hardened. The Gias is powerful grand magic, nearly impossible to break. But once the rules are established, they bind everyone equally. That means this will not necessarily favor us. Suddenly, Estelle Hadasha El Ras's image flickered and shattered. Alicia Arden gasped. "Why did we lose? The fight has not even begun." Corin answered grimly. "There is no helping it. Estelle is currently holding back the demi-humans. Maintaining the Gies alone is already pushing her to her limits. She does not have the capacity to fight. If she cannot fight, then under the contract, she is considered defeated." A system notification appeared. Under the gaze, a loser who is incapable of fighting must withdraw immediately. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath smiled. "So, 4 remain." Calatin adjusted his robes. "From the beginning, activating a GS always requires accepting a disadvantage. Very well. Let us proceed to the second duel." Estelle's shattered image faded completely. Calatin stepped forward, facing Ron. Ron exhaled slowly. "Who?" Calatin's eyes gleamed. "How fortunate. To think that in my later years, I would witness grand magic spoken of only in ancient records, and perhaps even see the Gold Wolf clan. It has been far too long since I last examined a living specimen." Ron stiffened. Are you from the Mage Tower?" Calatin smiled faintly. "Yes. I study creatures such as yourself and refine them into more perfect life forms." A magic circle flared beneath his feet. From it emerged a massive beast wreathed in flames. "I am Elder Calatin, leader of the School of Beasts." He thrust his staff forward and the creature lunged. Ron leapt aside in a blur, narrowly avoiding the flame. With effortless precision, he evaded the blazing assault as the second duel began. Alicia Arden stared wide-eyed. "He is insanely fast." Warren tilted her head slightly. "Oh," Ron smirked. "My older brother once told me that stopping for even 1 second is the same as giving the enemy 1 second. He burst forward, closing the distance to Master of Magic Calatin in an instant. Corin Locke watched carefully. "He told us that during hunting ground practice. Those movements are impressive, but a heavy blow struck Ron square in the face. His body shot backward and slammed into the wall with tremendous force. Warren clicked her tongue. Sloppy. You should have killed the chimera first. It is large and powerful, but slow. You could have taken it down. Ron refocused, locking his gaze, only to be struck again. Calatin observed in silence as the chimera pinned Ron down and stomped on him. Ugh! Flames gathered in the beast's mouth. A torrent of fire engulfed Ron, scorching him until smoke rose from his body. Ugh! Through the pain, Ron forced himself to look closely. This creature, it is stitched together from many parts, and yet, I can tell, it is my own kind. The chimera let out a distorted cry. Calatin laughed. The Gold Wolf clan's golden fur is excellent material. It enhances defense and resistance, and it looks magnificent as well. But in the end, it is merely a beast. Low intelligence is unavoidable. It is nothing more than a puppet that obeys my commands. He narrowed his eyes. And yet you cannot strike back. Do you pity a puppet like this? The chimera bit into Ron's leg. Ah! Calatin's smile widened. Naturally. The Gold Wolf clan shares strong bonds and deep affection. My research on your kind is complete. You cannot attack your own kind. An imprint carved into your genes is more terrifying than any rule. He gestured proudly at the monster. But my creation is different. It moves without hesitation. Observe this chimera that perfectly compensates for the Gold Wolf's weaknesses. The School of Beast, which edits and reconstructs genes at will, is the academic field closest to godhood. Ron's image fell. Ron was defeated. Calatin raised his staff. Go, kill them all. Drag every test subject from the mound. I will capture them and turn them into chimeras. Dust settled across the battlefield. Warren glanced at Ron's fallen body. Genes, is that why he did not attack? She placed a hand on the ground near him. I do not know, she murmured. I do not think so, Calatin scoffed. Pity? Humanity? Is that what you suggest? Multiple beasts emerged, encircling Warren. Then, a massive explosion erupted. Calatin chuckled. When the smoke cleared, Warren stood in the center, her fist dripping with beast blood and fluids. Who knows, she replied calmly. Calatin's expression twisted in shock. Warren examined her small fist. Pity, humanity, I do not possess such things. She looked up, eyes cold. Sympathy, humanity, I lack them. Step by step, she walked toward Calatin. Do not come any closer, you monster. In the blink of an eye, her fists connected. Calatin's image shattered. Calatin loses. Alicia Arden gasped. Oh, Miss Warren, in a single strike? Corin shook his head slightly. Not exactly. Ah, right, Warren replied casually. Corin faced Miriam Elizabeth Elrath. Now then, how about you surrender and return home? Miriam's gaze sharpened. So she is your hidden card? Even so, I still have one more card to play, Warren said flatly. Restricting my power is not easy. A figure stepped forward. Holy Knight of Zeruim, Rojo smirked. Looking away in the middle of a fight? Do you have a death wish? Warren turned toward him. In an instant, she was struck multiple times. You are fast, she admitted. She narrowly dodged the next flurry. The battle has already begun, Rojo declared. Then his eyes widened. A demi-human. He moved at blinding speed, circling her. No matter how powerful you are, if you cannot strike me, you will be riddled with holes. He appeared behind her, blade thrusting toward her eyes. Suddenly, an explosion erupted behind him. Corin observed calmly. Not bad. You cannot keep up unless you use your domain. Rojo staggered. Impossible. It is a poor matchup, Corin continued. No matter how skilled he is, his opponent is indestructible. Warren remained standing, unmoved. Rojo roared in frustration. Urgh, I will not bow down. I cannot give up here. He attacked again and again. Warren did not even break a sweat, receiving every blow without flinching. Rojo shouted like an overexcited youth, his voice cracking as he swung wildly. Hours passed. Dawn arrived. At last, Rojo's sword shattered. He fell to his knees. After a long and desperate struggle, he lowered his head. I lost. I accept my defeat. Warren wins. Rojo is defeated. She looked down at him silently. Corin smiled faintly, while Alicia Arden had fallen asleep at the side. Miriam Elizabeth Elrath narrowed her eyes. That woman, she is plotting something. Shadow of the Snake, Arba whispered. Is she conserving her strength for future battles? No, Miriam replied slowly. It is not that. Could it be? She turned. You should forfeit, Persia. Great warrior of Damnu, Persia laughed heartily. Do not worry, princess. This old man does not cherish his life. If it fulfills your wish, I will gladly sacrifice myself. He lowered his helmet over his head. Before he could finish, Hwarin's fist struck. His helmet crumpled like a crushed can. Without pause, Hwarin pressed forward. Corinloch shouted, "That is not how this works!" Alicia Arden blinked in confusion. "Eh? Huh?" Hwarin replied calmly, "It cannot be helped." She seized the helmet of great warrior of Domnu, Persia. Ugh. Mmph. Persia groaned in pain as her grip tightened. The princess noticed, Hwarin said quietly. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath narrowed her eyes. "So your plan was to stall for as much time as possible from the very beginning, Sir Corin." Corin did not deny it. "You have seen through us." He thought to himself, our objective was to establish a law recognizing demi-humans as citizens of the kingdom. Once the Gias activates, Miriam will never again be able to set foot in Dana Sui. A system notification echoed. Gaz. Absolute contract. The losing party may not step into the holy grounds. Corin continued thinking, however, if Balthazar, Miriam's ally, interferes, or if some unforeseen disaster occurs, everything could unravel. The safest course was to keep Miriam here until the law passed while allowing the duel to continue. This battle ends when the opponent dies, accepts defeat, or loses consciousness. If that is the case, Persia struggled weakly. Mmph. Hwarin tightened her grip around his helmet. We must ensure he cannot speak, Corin concluded. If his mouth is blocked, he cannot forfeit. It is more violent than I intended, Corin murmured, but effective, Hwarin said firmly. Stay still. It is already over. Persia trembled. Then suddenly, a silver spear pierced through him. Hwarin's eyes narrowed. A silver spear. Corin stared at his own weapon in shock. It was not me. His expression darkened. He is. Could it be? A figure shifted as shadows twisted. Arba? Corin exclaimed. Snake's shadow, Arba, revealed herself. Corin's thoughts raced. In the case of Idrin, the Mage of Gold, he could copy appearances. Arba can replicate weapons and power. However, the weapon is only visual. Most special weapons, including the Danan's treasures, cannot be truly duplicated. Her ability works only while directly facing the opponent. Her difficulty is not particularly high compared to other bosses. However, the one she copies. Arba flexed her fingers and smiled. It is a fine body. Corin's heart sank. A heavenly yaksha capable of tearing chimeras apart with bare hands. That is an entirely different matter. Arba tilted her head. Are you not curious? She dashed forward. Who would prevail in a clash between two indestructible beings? Their fists collided. A violent shockwave erupted. Blood dripped onto the ground. Hwarin stared at her injured hand. It hurts. Alicia gasped. A wound? Miss Hwarin is injured? Arba smirked. You are not accustomed to being hurt, are you? Your reactions are slow. She kicked Hwarin backward. Hwarin surged forward with her fist. They mirrored each other's movements, copying strikes and counters. Their short legs snapped upward in simultaneous high kicks, colliding mid-air. They exchanged blows at blinding speed. Arba sneered. If you wish to live, surrender, demi-human. I will defeat you and bring down the mound. There is no need for futile resistance. Hwarin's voice was steady. No, I will win. She deflected Arba's arm and drove her fist upward. An uppercut connected. Arba was sent flying, crashing into the ground. Urgh! She coughed in disbelief. What? Martial arts? You fight with technique instead of relying solely on brute strength? Hwarin's eyes sharpened. I have wondered as well. Between you and me, who is more desperate? A red, raging aura burst from her body. Arba roared. If you refuse to surrender, then die. She charged again. Their fists collided repeatedly. Blow after blow cracked the earth beneath them. They raged without restraint. Finally, they separated. Arba's form flickered as she reverted to her original appearance. She collapsed to the ground. No way. How could a mere demi-human? Hwarin stepped toward her calmly. I have faced an opponent against whom my adamants failed once before. Compared to him, you are nothing. Arba weakly reached out. Wait. Hwarin raised her fist. My name is not demi-human. It is Hwarin. Her fist descended. Arba's image shattered. Hwarin swayed slightly and dropped to one knee. Ha! Corin watched quietly. Hwarin wins. Both sides were now unable to continue fighting. Thanks to Hwarin buying time, only one day remained before the law would be passed. Just one day. Corinloch stepped toward Hwarin. Hwarin, thank you for fighting so hard. Are you all right? It is nothing, she replied calmly. I simply need rest. Alicia Arden hurried over with a bottle and bandages. Hwarin, please allow me to apply some medicine. Corin watched quietly. Princess Miriam's subordinates have all been neutralized. Now it is time for the princess herself to move. He turned. Alicia, are you prepared? Of course, she answered confidently. I am fully warmed up. Miriam Elizabeth Elrath's image appeared before them. Then suddenly distorted, Corin quickly pulled out his crystal communicator. Estelle, what is happening? Estelle Hadasha El Ross's voice came through, strained. Huh? Corin, something is wrong. The gas has changed. A slow clap echoed across the battlefield. It was a magnificent battle. I watched in admiration. Alicia stiffened. That voice. Corin's expression hardened. Miriam's image flickered and was replaced. Ohard Brest stood there instead. Corin's thoughts raced. Balthazar's closest ally, the Danan of beauty. Ohard Brest smiled faintly. It has been a long time, omnipotent demon king, Corin thought grimly. There is no need to waste any more time, Ohard said lightly. Corin stepped forward. What brings someone like you all the way here? What do you gain from killing a few demi-humans? Ohard spread his arms slightly. We have such a beautiful stage. It would be a shame if a star like me were not featured. Moreover, Zeruim's assistance through Princess Miriam has greatly advanced our plans. It is only proper that I strengthen ties with such a splendid ally. Empty words, Corin replied coolly. This is what you truly desire, is it not? He raised his new arm. Ohard's eyes gleamed. Ergetlam. I have long wondered, Ohard continued softly, how you obtained information about the sun. Why did the divine King Nuada hand over Ergetlam, which was meant for me? But now that I see you standing here, I understand. He tilted his head. That face of yours would be a waste to kill. Handsome enough to charm countless women. You truly have talent as an actor. Corin answered calmly. Do not presume that beauty is limited to outward appearances, and yet you dare speak of beauty before me. Ohard replied with faint amusement. He glanced at Rojo. You. Hand over that sword, Rojo stammered. But it is already broken. The shattered blade suddenly flew from his hand and landed in Ohard's grasp. A broken sword is enough, Ohard said quietly, eyes glowing, to carve open the belly of an ordinary man in an instant. Corin's body was slashed. Ooh-ah. Blood stained his clothes. Corin steadied himself. There are those called superhumans, individuals capable of defeating monsters and evil spirits. But the special ranks, said to stand at the pinnacle, what are they truly? System backup commencing. Commandment verification. First commandment, duty, do not turn a blind eye to the misfortune of others. Pertinence, a plus. Second commandment, restraint, I do not perceive spirits, backup, 50% additional damage. Third commandment, oath, I will save the world. Pertinence, a double plus. Backup, statistics increase by 200%. Hero Corin lock. Defeat evil and save the world. Backup statistics increase by 200%. Corin clenched his teeth. It only proves how dangerous he is. All of Balthazar's subordinates are monsters. He activated his skill, Calamity, Serpent of Slaughter. Intent, Slithering Serpent. Each of them appears like a final boss of their respective stage, Corin thought. Yet this man stands on an entirely different level. In a one-on-one battle, maintaining distance was paramount. A spear held the advantage. However, Ohard moved instantly. The broken sword nearly pierced Corin's eyes. Corin twisted aside. Ugh! Ohard caught the spear mid-motion. It is a fine spear, light and well-balanced. I want it. He kicked Corin. Corin flew like a bullet and smashed into the wall. Ugh! Ohard spun the spear with effortless grace. Armed with countless techniques absorbed through combat, Corin realized he is a weapon master who wields any weapon as though it were his own. Ohard hurled the spear. Omnipotent Demon King. The spear struck Corin's side. Ohard approached slowly. I truly do not understand. He seized Corin's arm tightly. Why did you not simply give Ergetlam to that Jiangshi? Or perhaps to that girl who walks within the domain? His grip tightened painfully. From what I have heard, Ohard continued, whether aura or mana, if a single quality vastly surpasses normal limits, that individual is called special rank. He flung Corin aside. I hope the final stage will be as beautiful and elegant as possible. Only special ranks belong upon that stage. You, however, belong off stage, Corin Loch. Corin's eyes sharpened. Rune of regression, activate. Ohard paused. Rune magic? In that instant, Corin moved. An illusion flickered. He seized the spear back and disarmed Ohard. The spear's shaft struck Ohard's flawless face. A thin scratch appeared on his cheek. Corin leapt backward, leveling the spear. I know you are confident wielding any weapon, but you cannot harm me with a spear. He pointed the tip directly at Ohard. Ohard slowly wiped the blood from his cheek. An excellent spear indeed. He snapped his fingers. Multiple weapons materialized around him. In return for witnessing such a splendid weapon, I shall display proper courtesy. Unblockable by any armor and never missing its mark, the strongest weapon of the Danan, Fragarak, the Answerer. I know you are merely furious because your face was scratched, Korin shot back. Second demonic spear. 5 dragons fall from heaven. 6-step spearmanship. Asura. Let us settle this in a single strike, spearman. Ohard Breast declared, as I desired. They leapt toward each other. Time slowed. A blinding flash erupted as their weapons collided. Rojo covered Miriam's eyes. What was that? Exactly as it is written, space itself cracked. It was as though heaven and earth had split apart, a moment when all humanity would tremble in fear and awe. What monstrous calamity could cause such devastation? 1 man against 1,000, supreme pinnacle of strength, the heaven above heavens, the all-destroying warlord, wise enough to outwit 10,000 men, transcendent, all encapsulated within a single title, special rank. Light exploded outward. Moments later, the dust cleared. How troublesome it would be to kill you here, and for me to perish as well, Ohard Breast said quietly. A mere human stood against Fragarak. How could I withhold praise? You deserve to stand upon the final stage, Korin Locke. Let us call this a draw. Hey, Korin replied, forcing himself upright. I am still capable of fighting. And we still have one last combatant. Ohard Breast turned toward a portal. It does not matter. Your destined enemy is not me. When Balthazar claimed this boy was his fated nemesis, I thought him mad. But now I see. It truly suits him. The portal closed. Korin collapsed to the ground. Korin, Alicia shouted. Are you all right? Huaran asked. I am fine. I nearly died pretending to be fine. I barely managed to delay defeat. Well then, Korin said, looking ahead, you and your army may not enter the holy grounds. The opposing army, which had marched toward Dana Swai in fury, had lost its will upon witnessing the clash between 2 special ranks. However, Princess Miriam? Could it be? The battle between the 2 special ranks shattered the gaze. Regardless of the outcome, all contracts had been rendered void. Ren supported Estelle, who trembled and broke into a cold sweat. From the very beginning, the snake had never cared for victory. It had waited for this exact moment. Miriam Elizabeth L. Rath stepped forward. I was able to enter the holy grounds thanks to you. Thank you, Korin, for granting my wish. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.